Hello, Anna here. Welcome back to my little kitchen. A little bit of housekeeping before this week's video. If the idea of decadence, sweetness, foods with absolutely zero health benefits worries you, this is not your video. For everyone else that's still here, oh my goodness, this no-bake marshmallow slice is wonderful. So simple to make. Absolutely decadent, amazing, filled with all sorts of things that we probably shouldn't have a lot of. Stick around and I'll show you how I make it. The first step is going to be lining the tin, so I'll quickly go through that with you. Again, you guys know how I do it probably by now. Grab some Cheapest Chips cooking spray, give your tin a very light little spray. That just helps the baking paper to stick, so that it doesn't stick to the sticky ingredients when we put it in. And then we grab a sheet of paper, and then I just loosely lay that over the top. I grab some scissors here, and then at the corners just give it a nice big cut into the paper like that. Roughly, it doesn't have to be exactly in the corners, and then we simply press it in. And then you can just see there that that has just created nice little corners without it being too tricky, rough enough for what we need it for. The handy thing here is to have some slightly longer sides so that at the other end we can just lift this slice out when we're ready to cut it. So we'll set this aside. This is of course marshmallow slice, so I have some marshmallows here. What I do with my marshmallows is a few days before I want to bake, I pop the marshmallows into the freezer. The reason I do that is because I find that they hold their shape just that much better. We're going to be putting them in warm ingredients later on, so this way they don't melt as much. They still will a little bit, and that's part of the beauty of it. So using kitchen scissors is super easy for this. These are definitely kitchen scissors, and I haven't just cleaned my daughter's. I cut a third of it off and then I cut it in half again, and that's roughly around about the right size. And what I do is I actually pop these back in the freezer while I prepare the next stage, just to keep them nice and cold until I do the next step. And the next step, of course, for a no-bake slice is our biscuits. So I've just got plain vanilla biscuits here, 500 grams, so that's 2 packets of vanilla biscuits, whatever you call them in your country. I'm going to pop them in here and crush them up to a fine crumb. It's totally fine if there are a few extra chunky bits in your biscuit mix, no problem at all, just all adds to the texture. And then we'll set that aside and work on the next step. So now on to all the good stuff. I mentioned this is not a health food, so look away if this is going to upset you. We're going to put in here 250 grams of butter. Whenever I'm doing a no-bake slice, I always like to add the butter down on the bottom of the saucepan, so that's the first thing that gets there. 1 can, or about 395 grams of beautiful condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk. And then into here goes 1 cup of brown sugar. You guys already know, I'm sure, that when you're measuring brown sugar, you always press it in. It's a nice soft sugar, and that's how we measure it. That's around 200 grams of brown sugar. And then 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, which I am going to sift in because cocoa powder is one of those things that always likes to have lumps to ruin your day. So we'll sift that in. And then on a gentle heat, I'm going to take this over to the stove top and combine it all together until the butter is fully melted through, and then I'll show you what we do next. So I've just taken that off the heat. The butter has just melted through, and you're left with this lovely cocoa sweet mixture that we're now going to add the vanilla to. Just a teaspoon of vanilla, and stir that in. So I have stirred through the vanilla. How good does that look? We have our nice cold marshmallows and the biscuits. We're going to combine that together. Let's go. First in goes your crushed biscuits. So the crushed biscuits are in there. I give them a little bit of a stir, not all the way in, just to sort of start to combine them like this. And then we're going to add in our cold frozen marshmallows. And working nice and quickly, fold those all in to the chocolate mixture. So you can see it looks like this. The marshmallows are holding their shape. For the most part, that is a good sign. So we'll set this aside. This back, we're going to plop it straight in here. I was given this recipe years ago when my son was a little boy from a very dear friend of mine, Sarah, and I think she got it from her mum. I love recipes like that have been passed down, and then someone like me comes along and it goes, and a whole other generation of people can enjoy it. And it is absolutely delicious, if I may say so. Okay, so there you go, all plopped in there. We're now just going to press it and spread it into the tin until it is a lovely smooth surface. So there you go. How good does that look? So easy. My slice tin is 23 centimeters. If you want your slice to be slightly thinner, make it bigger, 25 centimeters, or a rectangular one would be lovely for a nice thin slice. And then the final step is some patience. We need to pop this in the fridge to chill for about 6 hours or overnight until it is lovely and firm to be able to cut it. I won't judge you though if you did happen to take a little scoop out with a spoon before you pop it in the fridge. It's been done before, so I will show you what this looks like next. So there you go, it is all chilled and set and ready to slice, so let's get stuck in. Okay, here we go. Let me show you what it looks like inside. I mean, how good is that? What's not to love? It is marshmallow, biscuit, brown sugar, condensed milk. It is absolutely delicious. So it is as simple as that. Such a yummy little sweet treat. Huge thanks to Sarah for passing it on to me all those years ago. I love recipes like that. As always, the recipe for this one is on my website, so just Google Just a Mum No Bag Marshmallow Slice when you are ready to make it. And thank you so much for following along this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and have a fabulous day.